XT is very important for us because it is mountain biking. We grew up with XT. XT was the first mountain bike group, and all throughout the years XT has followed where mountain biking changed, where the needs in mountain biking and styles changed, XT also changed with it. And it's always been kind of the benchmark for mountain biking. So it's a super important group for us, and I will go one by one to each of the products if you like and tell all the technologies and everything behind. But I think as a start, what is the most amazing achievement from XT is that the development already started together with the development of XTR. Because the biggest achievement that we made was not so much individually all the product, but the fact that we were able to bring XTR technology to this price point without any concessions in terms of compatibility or any exclusions. So when we were developing XTR, already they were thinking about XT, okay, it must be compatible even if we use steel instead of titanium, or we use aluminum instead of carbon. It must be possible to work and give the same features. We are so proud of the XT group set because the previous group was good. It was the standard in the mountain biking, but it was also rather neutral. It was based on features. Nice design, but it was based on features, not so much on appearance. And with the technologies that we did for XTR, and we will come to some individual parts later on, you will see that we really did our best for the aesthetics with dual tone, anodizing with matte and shiny black and highlighted details. So I think it worked out perfectly. We now have all the specs for modern riding styles, we have all the technology from XTR, and we have the appearance from a high-end group. For a price that is not just a dream, but it's achievable for any serious mountain bike. The biggest achievement is that we could do this all and didn't even have to raise the price of XT that much. So it really showed that it was a well thought of plan. And system integration and no compromises are the key words for Shimano, and it all fits in that. So let's start with the rear derailleur. The previous model of XT rear derailleur had a more cross-country style without clutch, and then the more trail style with clutch. The new one is following the XTR, so the stable new parallelogram that follows exactly the slant angle of the cassette. It is important because the distance between the guide pulley and the teeth is what defines the shifting. So how stable this position is, even when the chain is bouncing because of the suspension stroke, etc. This must be stable towards the cassette. If this is stable, your shifting is stable. So that is the number one achievement. The second achievement is that it's now adjustable. So there's always a clutch, even for cross country, but the clutch can be adjusted according to your riding needs. Because standard, for example, a cross country rider, shifting feel and smoothness is very important. The more you go to extreme riding, or the more you have, for example, a single gear in the front, the more tension you need to keep the chain stable. And you can tune it according exactly the needs of your bike, the suspension of your bike. It's only one version, but tunable for all different needs. This is the standard cassette, this one. This is the 1140, and it's basically similar steps as the 1136, but then with the 40 added in aluminum. Why did we choose for this combination? Several reasons. Rhythm step is very important because everywhere in the industry people talk about range, and we want a single almost to have the same range as a triple before. It's a nice discussion, but how about rideability? How about rideability? If you go up the steep hill, and I don't know if you see a truck which is a bit underpowered going up a steep hill, and they shift down and they lose the speed and they cannot even stay in that gear and they go down. So this is also what happens in mountain bike if the steps are not close enough, so you lose speed when shifting. So talking only about the range for many average mountain bikers is, if you're strong enough, a pro rider, yes. But normal mountain bikers that need the whole range to ride anywhere they want to go, they can dream of the lightest gear, but if they already walk when they when they are here, because the gap is too big, it makes no sense talking about. So rideability and range together should be no compromise, and that's why we choose for this cassette. An extra benefit is that we keep, even though each teeth has the same dimension as 10 speed. So the sprocket itself is just as thick as 10 speed. Also the rollers inside are just thick as 10 speed. So the durability of the whole system is exactly the same or even better than 10 speed. The pitch is a little bit more narrow, so the outside of the chain is thinner, but the inside is the same strength. Because it's 11, the whole package is wider by 1.85 millimeter. But because it's so big, it is hollow, so the root of the assembly is exactly the same as 10 speed. So you can fit it on any existing 10 speed wheel or hubset. This is the 1142. The 1142 is an additional spec, only compatible with the single front drivetrain. Why? You could say, okay, you can ride it, but the point is that if you do it with a double, because of this movement, you can see the pulley moves down. So you will get too much extremities in distance during riding between the small and the big chain ring, and then it is not according Shimano shifting performance. And yeah, the philosophy of Shimano in general is to make only products that offer better functionality than the previous. We will not make a product just for a product. We didn't make, as you might remember, on the road bike, we didn't make carbon cranks because everybody makes carbon cranks. And that's the same for single. We do make single, but only in our system engineering way, that we believe that this is a benefit for the rider. Not single just to have single, because it's, yeah. So when we move from the rear side to the front side, I think the most important highlight of the complete group, and I hope you can agree with me, is this new front derailleur technology, the side swing. So not only were we able to, normally the mechanism is here, whereas the seat stay, so in the tire affected zone, so we were able to bring the whole mechanism to here, which is of course good for the stability, but also to keep the area clean. But the most important part is that the previous model was rotating upwards by swinging. So there was always a curve. So the perfect shifting you had only when the chain was in the neutral position. But if you were in suspension mode or bottoming out, sometimes it was not so good as as the shifting in the middle area. By having this flat and having a linear movement out, it doesn't matter if the chain is like this or like that, the stability of shifting is always the same. So side swing for us is very important, and we can do that by the new construction that we have here. The spike pins have been repositioned by new technology to make sure that the shifting or the transition between small and big and small is fluent. So there's no shock or no misalignment. It almost feels like it's a seamless transition between big and small. Yeah. And already, I think what I like as a technician, if you see XT from this side, you think great appearance. But if you are a technician, then here's all the technology. You see immediately carbon, you see aluminum, you see all kind of spike pin steel construction. So this is where all the technology is. And then if you bring that, so this is carbon with aluminum, and this is aluminum. So the single crank, as you can see here, the single crank has a very special design. Unlike the double, the single is the main driving gear. The main driving gear for all the time. So there's much more load on a single gear than on a double. And also because the diameter in general is smaller than the big gear of a double, there is more stress on each different tooth. In order to compensate this to an XT level, we have chosen for a composite between carbon and steel teeth. Steel teeth ensure the durability that you expect from XT, and furthermore the profile is called dynamic chain engagement. Dynamic chain engagement means that we have studied a really long time to find the best balance between keeping the chain on the chain rings as much as possible when you have no front derailleur, for example, or no chain device under any circumstances, but keeping the chain on also means you increase the friction on the chain, so you reduce the efficiency of your drivetrain. And as it's not just a downhill group or an enduro group, but also for cross-country races, it's important to find exactly the right balance between drivetrain efficiency and chain engagement or chain retention. So we found with this profile what we think the best combination between these two factors and durability. The shifter has inherited a lot of the ergonomic features from XTR. So the longer lever with the outside shape and the dimples, so the curve. Also the concave release lever with a bigger surface and the lines in it for grip, so you can feel the distinction between up and down shifting. Why is it made bigger? Now, very simple. It can go 3 at once up, but also down, one defined click, and it's multi-release as well, with a real defined click. So you can always feel in rough terrain, am I shifting up or down, and am I doing 1 or 2 specifically. The next big thing is iSpec 2, coming from XTR. If you see the brake lever, you can simply remove the plastic cover which is in here and just slide it underneath, and then once you do that, when you slide it underneath, you are still able to rotate it in relation to the brake lever and also slide it closer or further away from your brake lever position. So it's super ergonomic. Another great feature is that we offer this one, the iSpec 2, but we also offer this new shifter with a bracket which is compatible to existing iSpec B, so the current XT and the lower level of group sets. So, and with a clamp band type, so there's 3 different versions. Same shifter, just the bracket is different. Okay. Then let's go to the brakes. What we did is, you can see by the main lever, the previous XT had a reservoir cap. This one has the closed cylinder, which is the construction from XTR, so the shape of XTR, also the ergonomics with the profile of XTR but then in aluminum. So, and this bracket style for iSpec 2, so all the features of XTR, but the internal part here and here are stayed exactly the same as the existing XT. So you have proven, because XT brakes are the benchmark in the market at the moment, so the function remains the same, but ergonomics are upgraded to XTR level. Then brake pads we deliver with fin, without fin, and resin and metal, so 4 different types. Discs have not changed, they are still iStack. This is the same as current, so aluminum core, steel on the outside. The aluminum gives the heat transfer to the spider, and the spider, because iStack is a big part of the cooling, dissipates the heat very easily, much better than a 6-bolt construction. So better function, better heat dissipation in iStack.